Good morning and welcome participants. I am Pankaj Thakur. Today we'll discuss frequency distribution. Before moving to frequency distribution, kindly watch the previous videos on coding of questionnaire, entering data into Microsoft Excel and statistical package for social sciences, that is SPSS, and checking enter data before analysis. In this video, I will discuss what is frequency distribution, why frequency distribution is done, and how to perform frequency distribution in Microsoft Excel and SPSS. Let's move to frequency distribution. Frequency distribution measures the counts for which an observation is repeated in a set of observations for a variable. Let's simply understand it with this example. As we want to know the familiarity of respondents with internet, for it we will take observation from 200 respondents on three value levels, that are 1 for very familiar, 2 for familiar and 3 for not familiar. Here 1, 2 and 3 are the numerical values assigned to the three categories of the variable, that is familiarity with internet, or we can say that 1, 2 and 3 are the codes assigned for recording the data in Microsoft Excel or SPSS. For this particular question, we are more interested to know that how many respondents out of 200 are very familiar, familiar and not familiar with the internet. The question how many is answered with frequency distribution. As you can see in the table here, that 117 respondents out of 200 are familiar with the internet, while 55 respondents out of 200 are very familiar with the internet. Only 28 respondents out of 200 are not familiar with the internet. Mostly, frequency distribution is performed or used to find the percentages. So, by calculating the percentages, we can easily say that our half of the respondent are familiar with the internet, while only 14% of the respondents are not familiar with the internet. Why a frequency distribution analysis is done? Frequency distribution is very basic analysis in any type of research, and it depends upon the questions you have selected in your questionnaire, that whether a frequency distribution and percentages will be calculated, or rather average and standard deviation will be calculated. So let's have an example. Here we have a questionnaire. The title of questionnaire is Increasing Dependency of Academics over E-Resources, E-Books, E-Journals, Web Applications and Websites. For this particular example, we have taken a sample size of 50 respondents. So I have included 5 questions in this questionnaire. For question 1, there are 4 categories, and for question 2, there are again 4 categories, and question number 3 is an open-ended question, while question number 4 and question number 5, they are closed-ended questions with 4 and 5 categories respectively. In each of these questions, we are more interested to calculate frequency of value labels or these categories. For question 1, that to find the age of respondents, we are more interested to calculate that how many of respondents falls in the different categories of the age. And for question number 2, we are more interested to find that how many respondents falls in the different categories of education level. With the help of question number 3, we try to find out the number of research papers published in international journals by the respondents with the help of an open-ended questions. So for this particular question, we are very much interested to find the average number of research papers published by each respondents rather than finding the frequency distributions. So it depends upon the questions that we have selected in our questionnaire, whether to perform the frequency distribution or whether to perform the average or standard deviation. Similarly, for question number 4 and 5 that are having 4 categories and 5 categories respectively, we will find the frequency distributions. So now we will perform frequency distribution analysis in Microsoft Excel. Let's open the Excel window. As you can see, in the first row, we have 5 variables, that is age of respondent, education level, research papers published, working at, and importance of e-resources. The data for these variables is filled in below rows having 50 observations. For variable named research paper published, we calculate averages, not frequency or counts. So let's do it for the age of respondents. As you can see, we have coded the age 18 to 30 for 1 and 31 to 45 as 2 and 46 to 60 for 3 and 61 and above for 4. So we will try to find the frequency distribution for these 4 categories. And for first categories, we will go to the cell next to this category. We will click on this cell and then we will place a equal sign here and then start writing count. So when we will start writing count, there comes various options and from these options you will select count if. So here is the count if. So we will select this count if and then you can say, then you can see it is asking for a range. So you have to select the all observations for the age. So we will start from the this first observation and drop down to the last observation. So this is our range. After selecting this range, we will put a comma in our formula and then it is asking for criteria. So in these observations, we are looking for the frequency of 1. So criteria is 1 here. So we'll write 1 and close the bracket and hit enter. So the frequency of 80 to 30 years in this total observation is 5 and category is 31 to 45 years of age for which we want to calculate the frequency. So we can use another method. First we will click on the cell which is next to the category and we will go to the formula menu and from formula menu we will click on more functions and then we click on the statistical. So in statistical we will select the count if formula. So this is the count if formula. We will select this count if formula and a pop-up menu will open. So this menu will ask you for the range. So you will select the range again and then it will ask for the criteria. So in this category we have the code 2. So we'll write the 2 and then we will hit OK. So as you can see, the frequency of age 31 to 45 is 17. And for other categories, again we can use this formula. So count if you write it, then it will becomes easy for you to select the range and put the criteria. And criteria here is 3 and enter. So 15 respondent out of 50, they fall in the categories of 46 to 60 years of age and again equal count if and range comma and criteria 4 and then bracket close and enter. For getting the total, again put equal sign and then sum, write sum and then and select all these values and close the bracket and hit enter. So this is 50. If this comes 50, that means your count is or your frequency is accurate. So in this way you can calculate the frequency for other variables too. So let's move to perform frequency distribution in SPSS. It is very easy to perform frequency distribution in SPSS. You can easily calculate frequencies for all your variables at once or at one time. Let's open SPSS window. This is variable view of SPSS window. Ensure defining variable properties before starting the analysis. Define values for your variables and also define the various scales for your variables. And this is the data view where all your collected data has been recorded. So for performing frequency distribution, you will go to analyze and then from analyze to descriptive statistics and from descriptive statistics to frequencies. And as all your variables has been listed here, age of respondent, education level, research papers published, and working at and importance of resources. So you can select all your variables at once. For it, you can select your first variable, age, and then you will click on control and then select the other variable, education level, and working at and importance of e-resources. And then you will click this arrow button and all your variables will come here and then you will click OK. You can see all the outputs has been come here in the output view, and for age of respondent, frequency 5, 17, 15, 13, it also calculates the percentage. So here you don't need to calculate the percentage differently as you do in Microsoft Excel. So all your variables, the counts has been calculated or frequency has been calculated with the percentage. This is the way you can perform the frequency analysis using Microsoft Excel or SPSS. Don't forget to save the output